What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Wiregrass High School Football Report, brought to you by Digio Strategies and Wiregrass Daily News. I am your host, Phillip Jordan, in-studio host and producer of Nothing Was Football on 96.9 The Legend. And this is your weekly look at all things high school football in the Wiregrass. Got a fun show planned for you guys this week. Said it every week, but it's a fun show every single week here on the Wiregrass High School Football Report. In just a little bit, I will be joined by Geneva County head coach Al Gilmore. The Geneva County Bulldogs are 3-0 after getting their first region win of the year, region opener against Abbeville, 38-22. So a lot of great things happening there with Geneva County this year under Coach Gilmore. Of course, also we'll do Around the Wiregrass, look at all the scores from this past Friday and Thursday night, and we'll look ahead to the big matchups this week. But before we do all that, let you guys know you can find me in the podcast. Find me on social media at PJordanSEC. Podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, please follow, rate, and review. You can also check out the show over at Wiregrass Daily News. Please go check it out. All the latest news around the Wiregrass. And go like the Facebook page. You will not be disappointed. And, of course, you can email me at sportstalkphilipjordan@gmail.com. Now, as you know, we do this every single time. Let's go around the Wiregrass. All right, everybody, we're going to start things off as we always do in 7A Region 2. Of course, the game you would have heard Friday night between Enterprise and Dothan on 96.9 The Legend. Enterprise wins 28-21 to go to 3-0 on the year, winning the region opener against the Wolves. Dothan drops to 2-1, 0-1 in region. Enterprise has pretty much lived at Repute Stadium over the last 21 visits. They've won 18 of 21 visits there. Of course, that dates back to Dothan High Tigers and the Northview Cougars. Enterprise quarterback Mason Burkhart had a big day with 3 touchdown passes in the game, and running back Dylan Smith had 154 yards as well. Defense stopped Dothan twice in the second half in the red zone to hold on to the victory. When it comes to scoring, the scoring got started with Enterprise opening up. Burkhart connected with Andrew Purcell for a 17-yard touchdown to give Enterprise a 7-0 lead with 5:27 left in the first quarter. Dothan would respond, though, and Jaden Barnes tied the game with a 13-yard touchdown with 9:19 in the second quarter to make it 7-7. Enterprise running back Dylan Smith had a 55-yard touchdown run with 7:08 in the second to give Enterprise a 14-7 lead. And then Eric Winters would have a touchdown catch for Enterprise with 2:47 left in the first half to go up 21-7. But Dothan got a big momentum play going in to halftime when Asim White picked up a block punt for a touchdown to make it 21-14 as we went into halftime. Coming out in the second half, Enterprise made it 28-14 with 2:36 in the third quarter, when Cade Blackman had a touchdown catch. Dothan would get within 7 when A.J. Alexander scored a 6-yard touchdown run to make it 28-21 with 4:28 left in the game. But then Enterprise would run out the clock, and your final would be 28-21. Sorry, guys. No bonus coverage or bonus content with the postgame show. We don't have it available this time. All right, let's jump into 6A Region 2. Pike Road defeated Rehoboth 40-19. Rehoboth drops to 2-1, 0-1 on the year. It was 12-7 at halftime. In 5A Region 2, Andalusia defeated Headland 24-6 to get their first win of the year and be 1-0 in region play. Headland drops to 2-1, 0-1 in region play. Also in 5A Region 2, Charles Henderson defeated Greenville 18-14 to get to 1-0 on region play. And then Greenville is 0-1. Elmore County defeated Carroll 31-7, and that puts Carroll at 0-3 on the season. In 4A Region 2, starting on Thursday night, Pike County defeated Geneva County 21-15. Very close game here. Pike County is now 1-1, 1-0 in region play, and Geneva is 0-2, 0-1 in region play. For Pike County, Braylon Jackson caught a 37-yard touchdown pass with 15 seconds left in the game. Ashford got their first win of the season by defeating Dale County 14-6. Puts Ashford at 1-2 and 1-0 in region, and that puts Dale County at 1-2 and 0-1 in region. Strong defeated Daleville 14-0. Now, Strawn is 1-2, 1-0 in region play, and Delville is 0-2 on the year. Opp defeated New Brockton 30-27 to put Opp at 2-0 and 1-0 in region. New Brockton falls to 0-3 and 0-1 in region play. New Brockton led the game 27-16 at halftime. For Opp, Cash Harrell had 8 tackles and 1 interception in the game. 3A Region 2, starting on Thursday night, Alabama Christian defeated Northside Methodist 56-7 to go to 2-1 and 1-0 in region. And for Northside, they fall to 0-3. Montgomery Academy defeated Houston Academy in a defensive game 12-10, and that puts Houston Academy at 2-1 and 0-1 in region. Wicksburg defeated Slocum 28-0 to improve to 2-1 and get their first region win of the year, 1-0. And then for Slocum, they are 1-1, 0-1 in region play. Wicksburg quarterback John Carter Cole had 139 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns. In 2A Region 2, Ayrton defeated Houston County 48-28 to go to 1-1, 1-0 in region, and that puts Houston County at 0-1 in region play. For Ayrton, Addison Sin had 111 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground, and he also threw a touchdown pass as well. Cottonwood defeated Providence 58-6 to go to 3-0 on the year. Providence drops to 2-1, and that was their first region game of the year. They are 0-1 in region. For Cottonwood, King Campbell had 231 yards and 2 touchdowns. GW alone defeated Sampson 34-0 to improve the 1-2, 1-0 in region play. Sampson drops to 0-2, 0-1 in region play. Geneva County defeated Abbeville 38-22 to improve to 3-0 on the year and win their region opener. For Abbeville, they dropped to 0-3 on the season. Running back Brendan Hall had 319 yards and 4 touchdowns. Of course, we'll have more on this game in just a few minutes with Coach Gilmore. In 2A Region 3, Goshen defeated Zion Chapel 44-21 to improve to 2-0 on the year, 1-0 in region play. Zion Chapel drops to 2-1, 0-1. Highland Home defeated Barber County 54-0 to stay undefeated and now 1-0 in region play, and Barber County drops to 0-2. Pike Lib defeated Calhoun 40-0 to improve to 3-0, 1-0 in region play, and Calhoun is now 0-3. In 1A Region 2, Georgiana defeated Florala Thursday night 40-8. Georgiana is 2-1, 1-0 in region play, and Florala is 2-1, 0-1 in region play. Brantley defeated Pleasant Home 39-0 to improve to 2-0 and get their region opening victory. And then Pleasant Home is 1-2, 0-1. Kinston defeated Red Level 38-0 to go to 1-2, 1-0 in region play. Also in 1A Region 2, McKenzie defeated Elba, and do not adjust your speakers or anything like that. This is the correct score. McKenzie defeated Elba 80-78 in 4 overtimes. McKenzie goes to 3-0, 1-0 in region play, and Elba, that is their second loss in a row, 1-2, 0-1 in region play. Alvin Henderson for Elba had a big game, record-breaking night. He had 10 touchdowns, which is a record, and 66 points scored, which is a record. He ran for 435 yards in the game. Those records we mentioned, especially with the points, 58 was the record back in 2008, set by Hubertville's Tommy Haley Hicks in that one. And then McKenzie went up 80-72 in this one in the 4th overtime. Caden Atkins was stopped on the 2-point conversion as Elba tried to force a 5th overtime. Then in AISA, Abbeville Christian lost to Crenshaw Christian 35-19. Abbeville Christian now goes to 1-2, 0-1 on the year. And that is Around the Wiregrass. Now we are going to take a 1-minute break. And then when we return, I will be joined by Geneva County head coach Al Gilmore right here on the Wiregrass High School Football Report.
96.9 The Legend is your connection to classic country legends. But Digio Strategies has other options too. News Talk 103.9 is your source for America's top news and entertainment shows. Like Rick and Bubba in the morning, Glenn Beck from 9 till 11 a.m., and Clay Travis and Buck Sexton middays from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Sean Hannity, Lars Larson, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, and others fill your day with the latest news and views from America's top conservative voices. America America at night and Coast to Coast AM keep you company and connected throughout the night. Plus, Fox News, the Alabama Radio Network, and Wiregrass Daily News keep you informed with national, international, state, and local news. And with more musical choices like All the Hits, 106.7 KMX, Today's Country, 95.5 WTVY, and Music 107.7. Digio Strategies gives you more choices and more variety. Listen on air, online, and on our apps. 96.9 The Legend is just the beginning.
Everybody joining me this week on the Wiregrass High School Football Report is Geneva County head coach Al Gilmore. Coach Gilmore, appreciate you taking time to come on the show.
Yeah, Phillip, thank you. Appreciate you having me, buddy.
Yeah, glad to have you on. Glad to have you on. Congratulations to you and your team. The 3-0 start, of course, beating Abbeville 38-22 this past Friday night to start 1-0 in region play. Just what stood out most about your team on Friday night?
Oh man, just the resiliency of the kids that I have, the sheer willpower they have to just keep going and not quit is honest to God one of the strongest groups of young men that I've had in my coaching career that possess that. We had some adversity face our team starting on Wednesday and kind of rolled into Thursday. And, the kids said, Coach, we're not going to use that as an excuse. We'll just say, how do we fix it and how do we go? And so we made some adjustments and so had some young kids step up, some kids that had not been playing, had to step into a starting role and they answered the call like the young men and that I know they are. And I told them, I said, I'm ripping this off from Braveheart, man. But I said, guys, y'all played like warrior poets tonight. I mean, it was a thing of beauty seeing those young kids step up, take ownership of the role they had to have and execute at the level we had to execute in order to beat a team like Abbeville. I know people will look at Abbeville on paper and you say, oh man, they were 0-2 and they lost to 3A Beulah and 5A Headland. They two bigger classifications. Abbeville is a doggone good high school football team. They're well coached. Coach Stewart, I've known him for years. They're well coached. They're athletic as all get out. And we certainly had to play a better game to beat them than they did to beat us. And we were fortunate enough to be able to control the ball on the ground. And Brennan Hall had another big game for us. And Cade Hutchins had another big game for us. And, we were able to find some things in the run game that were successful for us and fortunate enough to come out with the victory.
And you talk about preparing, you're looking at Abbeville, just the whole week last week. What was kind of like your main focus to get your team ready for that athleticism and everything else that Abbeville presented to you guys?
Well, defensively, we knew their quarterback is just a freak of an athlete. I mean, he's just got God-given talent from an athletic standpoint, and they've got big, tall receivers, and we felt like he was more dangerous to us on the run and getting outside of the pocket and letting those guys run. So we worked all week long on what we call mush rush. We really worked with our defensive line and our outside linebackers containing him and staying at points on his body where your body needs to be at this point, your body needs to be at this point, and just compress. And we felt like if we could make him stay in the pocket and make those throws down the field, that we felt like we had a pretty good chance to either knock those down or the completion percentage be small because, the weather was going to be a factor Friday night. So we felt like that played in our favor. And, he hurt us a little bit with his legs on a couple times. We broke that down and, they had some good yardage on some quick screens out there to us that they just flat out outran us. But, the vertical passing game down the field, I thought we did a really good job of making them earn that. And I think we frustrated that quarterback a little bit to where he rushed a few things, and that helped us tremendously. And then on offense, we were able to do some things formation-wise that I think got them in a bad spot early. And we ran a lot of plays to our sideline and to try to hide that, and I think that was we found some success in that. They're bigger guys. They're 2 D tackles in the middle. They're both 270, 280 kids, and we were able to get 2 hats on them the majority of the night. As the night went on, I could just see, it was starting to wear on them, and so we were able to get some really tough yards up the middle of the defense late in the game, and it just really kind of became, ball control, and then we were able to punch 2 more touchdowns in late in the game to kind of seal it up for us. So, like I said, it was a combination of some strategy, a little bit of luck, which, I'm one of those that believe luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So it wasn't like we got them cheap. We practiced this stuff, and we were presented with an opportunity where what we practiced fit, and we were able to put some points on the board. And like I said, man, just the resiliency of my kids refusing to let the circumstances dictate the outcome. I got to give all the credit to those kids, man. They're a special group. They really are.
I know as you talk about the weather, being a factor in the game, of course, but you guys like to run the ball. I'm sure for an offense as yourself, it's kind of like almost welcome. Like, okay, this is our kind of weather and this kind of matchup.
Oh man, hey, listen, I'm not gonna say I sacrificed a chicken to the weather gods or anything, but it definitely helps us because, like you said, we are a power downhill based offense, and I don't like to get into the terminology of spread versus non-spread, so I'll say it like this. Teams that tend to be more air-oriented, they like to throw the ball more than we do. The wetness of the ground, the humidity in the air, how the ball, as time goes on, collects that moisture to it, how it spins in the air based off the humidity. But I know I sound like a nerd right now, but all this stuff does play into it. Can the receiver, if he's supposed to 1-2 chop, stick his foot in the ground and turn, well, now that 1-2 chop has to slow down because if he chops too hard, he slips. Things like that factor in. Got kids that want to wear gloves. Man, I'm going to wear my gloves because it looks cool. Well, when it's humid and it's been raining, those gloves become very, very, very slick. And there were 2 plays Friday night. I mean, one was a chance for a first down, and the other one was about a 6-yard pass that would have been complete. It hit their gloves and just slipped right off because they had moisture on their gloves. Things like that. The weather does play a factor into it. It absolutely does.
Yeah, I like that comment too about the receiver part of it. I think a lot of people, when the weather's bad, it's okay, how's the quarterback going to handle the ball? He can still throw it great, but like you said, if the receiver runs his route like he normally would when it's dry, he slips, he falls down, that could end up an interception for whoever's, they're playing on defense. So that's a big factor with the weather. And you're running back, Brendan Hall. I mean, Coach, I pay attention to you guys every single week, looking at what everybody does each week as I get ready for this show. And Brendan Hall, 319 yards, 4 touchdowns. And I know you talked about in the preseason, the off season leading up to this season, that he was a best kept secret in the Wiregrass. Just what have you seen out of him that's equaled to the performance he's had so far this year?
Well, Brennan is a unique player in the fact that he has excellent speed, and he has the ability to go from 0 to 60 in about 1 step. I was talking with somebody this past weekend. They wanted to know how does he compare to Alvin Henderson over at Elba, where I came from last year. And I said, honestly, the biggest difference in Alvin and Brennan is Alvin's a little stronger than Brennan. He's got a little bit more weight to him. I said, but as far as vision, the ability to cut and move and go from 0 to 60, Alvin would get in that pocket And when he saw daylight, put his foot in the ground, and he'd be full speed. Brendan has that ability too. And Brendan is learning how our blocking scheme works and is getting better and better and better every week at reading and understanding where the hole is going to be, not necessarily where it is. And he's done a really good job of being patient with that. And when he sticks his foot in the ground and he gets his shoulders square, he's very hard to bring down. He has very good balance. Several plays I joked with him today. I said, man, if you'd have just hit the hole, you ran outside and you had to ping pong off three people and you scored a touchdown. It looks great on film, but knucklehead, if you was just running the hole, you could have walked in the end zone, But his ability his balance gives him the ability to go out there and ping pong off people. You have to square him up to bring him down. But now his father, a lot of people may not know this, his father's Andre Golson, who was a running back for Geneva County back when I played in 99, 2000, 2001. And Andre was built the exact same way. I mean, he was just built like a bowling ball, and he was just really hard to bring down at a really good center of gravity. And Brendan is like that. But Brendan's got that breakaway speed that when he hits that daylight, he's tough to catch.
I know in your quarterback too, Cade Hutchins, and I saw the other day on Facebook, you shared a post. He got an award for the performance the previous week, and again, you guys are predominantly a run team, which he had 81 yards on Friday night. But it seemed like too this year, you don't throw it a lot, but when he's asked to throw the ball, he's making plays for you guys. Just talk about your quarterback.
Again, another one. Coming into this, I had a talk with him first day here. I said, hey, guys, how many of y'all play quarterback? And he and the other quarterback raised their hand. I said, no, not anymore. Now you're a fullback. And they kind of looked at me like, what? And over the time here, we've talked, and, he's another one that is he's demonstrated such selflessness that he's willing to be a team player. He's willing to do the things we're asking him to do because he understands in the scope of our offense, he's going to have his opportunities to make plays too. And when it's his time to block, he's blocking. When it's his time to make a play, he's making a play because they understand that everybody does that, and the offense works that much better. And, he's deceptively good with his legs. He's a very good runner, and I don't think people really realize that. He'll get in there between those tackles and bang out 7-8 yards, like any running back would. And then he has the ability to pull that joker and throw an absolute dime to a receiver. We haven't asked him to throw it that much this year. I think he's 7 for 10. He's got 7 for 10 for 240-something yards and 4 touchdowns. So he's throwing the ball at 70%. He throws the ball when we need him to, and we also throw the ball when we want to. We're not dictated right now by defenses telling us what we do in the passing game because he's such a good runner. They have to account for his legs as well as his arm. And I think that's what makes him unique. And, last week he had 140 yards passing on 2 for 3, but he also had 65 yards rushing and 2 more touchdowns. That's a lot for a defense to have to scheme against. And probably the 2 unsung heroes, and I don't know if you were going to bring them up or not, but I'll insert their names just because they deserve it, is our wingback, Jamarian Williams. He didn't have a big game Friday night because I joked with him. He's only 141 pounds, and I'm probably being gracious on that. He'd be one fingertip away from breaking a long run, but he had 9 rushes for 45 yards Friday night. Now, that may not jump off the stat page at you, but as a defensive coordinator, you have to be able to account for him touching the ball 9 times and still getting 45 yards worth of production. And then probably the most the most unselfish kid I have on my team is my receiver, James Wright. I mean, he is a blocking machine. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's a weapon, and he never complains. He goes 110% and then flips around and has probably one of the better defensive games we had Friday night. I think he had 7 tackles 3 pass breakups, 2 pass defenses, and almost got a fumble recovery. And, just like I said, just the kids that we have are just amazing. I mean, I don't know what I did to deserve them, but I'm dang sure glad I did it. I'll put it like that.
Just looking to this week, of course, another region game, obviously in region play, GW Long, and they had a win this past Friday against Sampson, 34-0. They forced 5 fumbles, and we're doing this conversation on a Sunday evening, so I know it's very early in the week. But just from what you've seen out of GW Long, what's going to be key for you guys to come out with another victory?
I think the key to this game is going to be turnovers on either side. Turnovers in field position. GW Long they're well coached. Coach Watts does a fantastic job. He did a great job when he was the offensive coordinator at Brantley. He's done a great job. I think this is his 3rd year at Long. And most coaches understand by year 3, you've actually got your full system in place. So I think his full offense is installed by now. They're a very disciplined football team. You can just tell they're well coached across the board. He's got 2 quarterbacks that he rotates. One of them is number 19, Preston Williams, who's actually the son of my high school running back, Lorenzo Williams. Shout out to Lorenzo Williams, class of 01. I just told everybody how old me and Lorenzo are, so there you go, little tidbit for you. But he's actually the son of my high school running back who coaches on GW Long's staff. And Preston is very much like his dad. He's a heck of an athlete. He's got weapons on the outside. They've got a very good-sized offensive line that is well coached and well disciplined. They're a heavy RPO team. They read that RPO very well. We're certainly going to have our work cut out for us, scheming them up, trying to find a way to keep things in front of us. And, they're going to be a tough test for us. There's no doubt. We're definitely going to have to play better to beat them than they will to beat us. I feel like it's going to be a good game for us, good challenge. But, like I said, we're going to do our best to be ready for it. And by 7:00 Friday night, the Bulldogs they'll be on that field. I can tell you that.
Oh, and finally, before I close it out, just anything I didn't mention, anything about your team that you would like to talk about?
I pretty much said it. Like I said, I cannot stress to people when you watch us play. I cannot stress to you how hard my coaching staff works, how hard these kids work. Again, just the overall resilience of these kids, just refusing to let circumstance dictate outcome. And the coaches that I have on my staff, again, I'm so fortunate. It's one of those lightning in a bottle kind of situations. We all like each other. We enjoy being around each other. We work hard. We enjoy coaching these kids. I just can't say enough good things about my coaching staff and my kids, and then the community of Hartford as a whole. When you turn around and you see 600-700 people in them stands and walking room only down on the sideline, it means a lot to those kids, and it means a lot to this community. What we've been able to do so far, and like I said, I'm very appreciative of that, and I hope we can keep it going for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'll be paying attention to this Friday night's game, of course, with you guys playing GW Long. And good luck this Friday, Coach, and I appreciate you taking time to come on here and talking about your team.
All right, Phillip. Appreciate it, buddy.
High school football season, and that means the Dothan Wolves are back on 96.9 The Legend. Every Thursday night, check out the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show with Jerry Coleman and Ken Lambert as they sit down with Dothan Wolves head coach Jed Kennedy about the previous game and preview the upcoming opponent. If you missed the Jed Kennedy Coaches Show, you can check out the podcast at wiregrassdailynews.com or go to your favorite podcast catcher and just type in Dothan High School Football. And, of course, every Friday night, pregame starts at 6:45 and kickoff is at 7 for all the Dothan Wolves football action. All right. Thanks again to Coach Gilmore for coming on. Had a lot of fun talking with him about his team there at Geneva County. They will have that matchup with GW Long this upcoming Friday. So let's look at, as we close out, as we do every single week, the schedule for this week's games. We'll start off in 7A Region 2. You'll be able to hear this game on 96.9 The Legend. Jerry Coleman and Ken Lambert will be on the call, and I will be back at Studio Control, keeping you up to date on everything going on in the Wiregrass and the Panhandle. But 3-0 Central Phoenix City will be at 2-1 Dothan. And also in 7A Region 2, you'll have 3-0 Auburn at 3-0 Enterprise. That's going to be a fun one to keep up with. 6A Region 2, Rehoboth is off this week, so we won't be doing any content when it comes to 6A Region 2 this next week. 5A Region 2, 2-1 Greenville will be at 1-2 Andalusia. 1-2 Eufaula will be at 2-1 Headland. 0-3 Carroll will be at 1-1 Charles Henderson. And 4A Region 2, 1-2 Dale County will be at 1-2 Strawn. 0-2 Geneva will be at 1-2 Ashford. 1-1 Pike County will be at 2-0 Opp. And New Brockton at 0-3 will be at 0-2 Delville. 3A Region 2, 0-3 Northside Methodist will be at 1-2 Prattville Christian. 3-0 Montgomery Academy will be at 2-1 Wicksburg. And 1-1 Slocum will be at 2-1 Houston Academy. In 2A Region 2, 0-1 Houston County will be at 3-0 Cottonwood. GW Long at 1-2 will be at 3-0 against Geneva County, as we just talked about. 1-1 Ayrton will be at 0-3 Abbeville. And 2-1 Providence will be at 0-2 Sampson. In 2A Region 3, 0-2 Laverne will be at 3-0 Pike Liberal Arts. 0-3 Calhoun will be at 2-0 Goshen. In 1A Region 2, 1-2 Kinston will be at 1-2 Elba. And then 2-0 Brantley will be at 1-1 Red Level. And then finally, in AISA, 1-2 Abbeville Christian will be at 2-1 Sparta Academy. So that is your schedule of games this week. So a lot of interesting matchups there as we are now into region play in high school football. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Wiregrass High School Football Report. Remember, you can check me out on social media at PJordanSEC. Podcast is available on all your favorite podcast platforms, Apple Podcast, Spotify, just wherever you get your podcast. And also you can check it out over at Wiregrass Daily News, Facebook page, website. Go and check it out. And as always, you can email me at sportstalkphilipjordan@gmail.com. All right. I hope everybody has a great week. Now, check out the Phillip Jordan podcast later on. We talk some SEC and college football on that one. And of course, the Jay Kennedy Coaches Show will be on later in the week. Hope everybody has a great week. Until next time, bye-bye.